in India and Pakistan, as both South Asian countries celebrate 75 years of independence. In 1947, at the end of decades of British rule in India, the country was partitioned, creating two independent nations, Muslim-majority Pakistan and Hindu-majority India. In the years that have followed, both have grown economically and in global influence. They've also become nuclear powers and adversaries. How do people in both Pakistan and India see their countries? Here are some views from each country. The first is from Pakistan.
I wish we become friends and live a peaceful life so that our next generation, they may develop their potentialities.
75 years ago, we were considered a small and insignificant country. Today, we are strong. We can compete with anyone globally. We manufacture everything: tanks, missiles, bombs. India has developed so much that today we can compete even with America on the world stage.
Both countries have been reveling in national pride, as I heard from our South Asia correspondent Rajini Vaidyanathan in Delhi and Pumza Falani in Islamabad. First to Rajini in Delhi.
People have been asked to drape the Indian flag, the tricolour, the orange, white and green flag, which has a wheel, a chakra in the middle of it. They've been encouraged to drape those outside their houses, and what you've seen is that all over the city here in Delhi, they've been tied to rickshaws fluttering in the wind as cars drive past. Huge flagpoles that have been put up in shopping centres and markets, so you've also got massive flags. So it just feels like you can see that flag, and it's almost a representation of this moment of national pride as India has marked its 75th birthday.
And Pumza, people in Pakistan have also been celebrating, I understand. What's been the most memorable moment for you?
They certainly have. I think one of the most memorable moments for me are the celebrations that I saw in the run-up to the Independence Day itself, so around the 13th, on the eve. And it really has become a time for family to come together here and instill a sense of national pride. I saw family members talking to their children about what it means, about why they enjoy this day and what being Pakistani means.
Still, there are challenges that remain for both countries. Rajini, Prime Minister Modi says he wants India to be fully developed in 25 years. Is that possible given there is such a disparity in wealth?
You talk to people about what 75 means, and people say to me, look, we have a strong army now. We are seen as a strategic power in terms of trying to, counter the influence of China in the region. Look at how India is a pioneer in science and technology. And of course, even though the economy took a hit with the COVID pandemic, it still has one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Now, you rightly say that inequality does, of course, persist. And I did also speak to people who had a more muted sense of the celebrations this weekend and this week, saying that they felt that, yes, it's all very well for the wealthy to be able to celebrate, but for many people, day labourers, they will say, well, things haven't really changed for them in the last few decades.
And Pumza, in Islamabad, some of those issues that Rajini was bringing up must strike a chord in Pakistan too. But of course, you've got the added complication of political instability there. What hope is there, or what feeling is there that Pakistan will be able to overcome some of these hurdles?
I suppose, unlike India, Pakistan finds itself in a difficult place economically. Speaking to people on the ground, this is across different classes, from unemployed people to working class to the middle class. There is a real sense that the economy is battling. A lot of people now, they're finding themselves struggling with having to make difficult choices around what to buy and what to leave, what things they can do without. There is hope, but there is a sense that that help isn't coming fast enough and people are struggling in the meantime.
And then, of course, there's the thorny issue of relations between these two major countries, both of whom have nuclear weapons. How are relations between the two countries now? Rajini, you first.
Politically, they are still very difficult. The countries still are considered adversaries. For example, you can't, fly from one country to the other. It's very difficult for people to get visas to visit visit the other country. And, in the past, the two countries have fought wars against each other. But I think some people, if you talk to regular Pakistanis and regular Indians, will say, well, actually, as a people, we have so much in common. We are one. Many shared cultures, music, food, film, art, all these things are sort of commonalities. When you see India and Pakistan play cricket, people joke that it's kind of, World War, whatever, on the pitch. But actually, the players have a really good kind of banter when they talk to each other. They have a very kind of good relationship. And people say, look, why can't the politicians be more like the cricket players?
And Phumza, what about the view from Pakistan towards India?
It certainly is very similar to what Rajini describes there. And I think what I've found is there's also a generational element. When you speak to younger people and ordinary people, there is a sense of curiosity, of interest, of wanting for even travel, as she mentions there, to be a lot easier. So there's a better connection. There's a lot more understanding that a lot of the tensions are largely political. So people will, on an ordinary people-to-people level, want to be able to engage more and are just wanting the politicians, as it were, the people that run things, to help facilitate that and make it a lot easier.
Our correspondents in Delhi and Islamabad.